What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Something feels odd here. Be on your guard.
I just noticed none of you other Danans have spirit cores. Why is that?
Both of my parents were part of the resistance in Calaglia. In fact, my birth was kept a secret from the Renans.
Mine too. We always lived in hiding, so I never had a spirit core embedded in me like I was supposed to.
What about you, Alphen? You were a slave in Calaglia before all this, weren't you?
To be completely honest, I'm not sure why I don't have one. All the other Danan slaves around me did. I was the only exception. They tended to keep their distance from me to avoid attracting any attention from the soldiers, because of my mask and all. What about you, Kisara? Do you still have your spirit core?
No. I was able to find a good Renan doctor who's sympathetic to our kind, and had them remove it before I left. They did such a great job, the procedure didn't even leave a scar.
One of the benefits of coexistence, huh?
I know that once the spirit vessel was shut down, there wasn't much need for me to hurry. But still, I didn't like having that mark of servitude lingering on me any longer than I had to. It may sound a little strange to hear me say this, but I'm just me now. Not a guardsman or a slave. I'm my own woman, and this is my chance to have a new beginning.
This sure is one rugged road. You'd think they'd keep this at least a little better maintained, right?
Why spend energy fixing that which is rarely used? Repairs require time and effort, which in our world means slaves, often in great numbers. For you, it may be a simple request, but that can quickly become another's difficult burden. Nobody gains anything without someone expending effort.
And you know, somehow that someone always ends up being a Danan, while the Renans are the ones who gain.
True enough. Ideally, in a perfect world, I think it's only fair that the ones who need it should be the ones to perform the work.
However, when doing so could be dangerous like it is here, there are many who would prefer that it be others who risk their lives in their stead.
So, what you're saying is that people will just put up with the inconvenience until someone else comes along to fix it for them?
Indeed. And it is those who can no longer bear that feeling that inevitably take action. Much like the Danans in our group do so now. As strange as it may be to hear such a thing from the likes of myself.
It's true that most of the Danans in Calaglia have been resigned to just accepting things as they are. Still, we can't just blame them for...
What are you making that face for? You're not worn out already, are you?
Nah, just regretting I ever said anything in the first place.
I've got a really bad feeling about this. This one's mine. I hope so good as an airborne target.
We got flyers!
I've got this. Let him march here. Air thrust. Please let go. Eat this. Hero. I'm only getting started.
It's time! I want it! Take it! Dragon Swarm! Rising Thunder! You're mine!
Do it! Midwell, astral energy! Full throttle!
Take this!
Hear my call!
You're It's over!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
I feel stronger. I mean, a bit.
Good. We're counting on you, Rinwell.
On me? Well, I'll do my best.
All right.
There's nowhere to run from my arts! When he slows down, that's our chance!
It's like trying to keep up with a wolf! I'm out of ammo!
In a bind.
Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah, and pummel it to me.
You're mine!
Can't get out of this!
Annihilation! Mega Ray!
Sword Ring!
Raging
First strike!
Rip it.
Take this!
More Steering
You're mine!
Reload!
You're finished!
In a bind.
Glacial Spear! Piercing!
Sword Ring Alpha!
It's time!
First strike! Rising Wyvern!
In a bind.
Take this! You're finished!
Take this.
There you go!
You're mine!
Just getting started.
Can't get out of this!
You're mine! Dragon Swarm! Rising Wyvern!
Pierce evil!
Crumble! Sword Ring Alpha!
Demons descend!
Flashing fang.
Way to go!
Sword Ring prepare to be seen!
Burning strike!
It's over! Sword Ring Alpha!
Can't get out of this!
I'm out!
Sword Ring Alpha!
I'm all stuffed up!
Big do it!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Got some interesting moves there, Dohalim. I'm glad you're on our side.
I'm simply glad to hear that I can make myself useful to you all. Huh?
What's wrong?
We seem to have come across some rather unusual objects.
What? You mean that pile of garbage?
No mere garbage, I assure you. Still, I've never seen anything shaped like it before. I'm intrigued.
Are you curious about this stuff, Rinwell?
Yeah. I think he might have found some old Danon relics. They look like the remains of a bunch of objects that disappeared after the Renans first invaded.
And yet here I am, holding them without so much as a second thought. I imagine the sight must be unsettling to you.
Not really, just that it must be nice to be a Renan who has time to indulge in stuff like that, unlike the rest of us.
Are you interested in this stuff too, Dohalim?
Charmed may be a better turn of phrase. I simply love objects that can give me a sense of what their maker was thinking, the history that went into their creation. You see, we Renans have hardly any such objects that trace back to our distant past.
I still don't understand what you two find so intriguing about it, though.
Why not? We're talking about our own culture here.
I get that, but it's not like this stuff is any use now, does it? It's just old. Real old.
Oh, but it does. Holding it in your hands like this, one can feel and engage with the distant past in a way no history book can ever accomplish.
I'll take your word for it. Well, seeing as it's Danan history, just make sure you're careful with it. All right, Dohalim?
But of course. That treasure.
That took more energy than I expected.
Visibility along this path will remain limited for some time. Take care not to get ambushed.
I'm surprised you know the terrain here so well. Woods don't strike me as having much time for wandering in the woods.
Sometimes I would take strolls along here when I wished to be alone.
You always did have a bad habit of disappearing without telling any of us guardsmen.
Hey, look at that enemy! It's shining!
Brace yourselves! This one's tough! Sword Rain Alpha!
Photon Raging Cascade!
Glacial Spear!
Here I come!
And that is a duel of the arts!
Here I come!
Attack!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Sword Rain Alpha! Sit still!
Sia, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done!
Here I come!
The enemy wields arc too.
You'll soon see about that!
Take this!
Here, let me help!
Sword Rain Alpha!
First aid!
Glacial Spear!
Prepare to be sealed on fleet of foot.
Actually, that sound is more appropriate.
Less talking, more doing!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Water!
Can't get out of this!
Take this! You're finished! Rising Wyvern! No escape! Stardust! You're finished!
The tide of battle has turned!
That's the power of comrades in arms.
You're mine!
Comrades in arms!
What? Sentimental?
Lunar Rongo! Sword Rain Alpha!
Eat this!
Strike! Sword Rain Alpha! You picked the wrong fight!
Hey, that's
Alpha!
don't get in trouble again. These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more pummeling.
Cut them apart to your heart's content.
Sword Rain Alpha!
It's time.
Get out of there with the others!
Take this! Okay.
Lightning strike!
Dragon Swarm!
Thunder blade!
Here I come!
Handle! Mega ray!
Crumble!
Water! Raging storm!
Eternal Devastation! Sword Rain Alpha! Now, take Take this! Sword Rain Alpha!
Can't get out of this!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Now! Get toasty!
Bird Strike!
Hey! Poodle's quivering! I think we're about to be real lucky!
I have a bad feeling about this. I'm like bait to them. This one's mine.
Here I come! Sword Rain Alpha!
My specialty.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Pesky airborne scoundrel!
Sounds like a job for yours truly.
Freaking does it!
Searing flame! Reload!
Sword Rain Alpha! In an instant! Impact Cross!
Will this help?
Dragon Form! Rising Wyvern!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Catch it!
I'm on a roll now!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Hear my call.
Do it!
I can feel my precision improving.
It's so hilly around here. I can feel my feet getting blisters.
That's mountain hiking for you. It can be pretty tough if you're not used to these sorts of trails.
I take it you're comfortable with them then?
Oh yeah, we used to run up.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Where are you going? If it's in the sky, it's mine.
Take this! Sword Rain Alpha!
Astral energy!
Say no more! Got it!
Well done!
Here I come! I'm not done!
Do it!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Leave the enemy's arc to me!
Milk your place here!
You're mine! I'm not done!
Sleep now!
Come one, come all! Crush! It's over! First strike! Sword Rain Alpha! I'm not done! Sword Rain Alpha!
Do it!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished! I still got a ways to go!
Bad feeling about this.
Sword Rain Alpha!
When did I get so popular?
Rising Wyvern!
I never miss!
You're mine! Sword Rain Alpha!
Air thrust!
You're mine! It's over!
Here's evil!
I'm on it! Astral Arts?
That's like you!
Shut him down! Crush! Rising Wyvern! First strike!
It's searing flame!
You're on! Eternal devastation! Sword Rain Alpha!
Sleep now!
I'm not done! Take this! You're finished! Here I come! Sword Rain Alpha! You're finished!
We're in the home stretch, guys!
What is that? Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off!
Now!
Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more. Hey, I'm pretty lucky.
Let it rip! Here I come! Rising Wiper! It's too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
I'll smash you! Dragon Swarm! Don't leave!
Hey!
Blow them away!
My turn. Do you require a hand?
On! You're done!
Lightning raging cascade!
Got your name on him!
Sword Rain Alpha this time!
Healing circle!
Here I come!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw!
Here, let me have
Fantastic! Great! Amazing!
Shut up, Law! I'm trying to focus!
I was only trying to be nice!
So those are Danon after all.
Now!
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
I think I'm getting stronger.
Oh, this looks nice and tough.
More Danon runes here too, I see.
What were people even thinking back then? Trying to build anything around here.
Maybe they just had that much time and energy on their hands.
What's this thing?
This won't be easy.
Don't be such a pessimist.
You're mine! Sword Rain Alpha!
Bring it all together.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Leave the charges to me.
Win! Swallow Dance! You're on! You're mine! You're mine!
They got me flanked!
Here goes.
Crush!
Lightning condensed.
No escape! Rising Wiper!
Here's the
Sword
evil.
Rain Alpha!
Lightning condensed.
Here I come! It's over!
Here's the
Swallow
wind.
Dance! You're mine!
Did you hear
Sword
it?
Rain Alpha!
Here's the wind.
Rising Wiper!
Take this!
Here I come!
Do it!
More! Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade! See that?
That training's paying off!
Do it!
Remote!
Astral energy.
Say no more!
Looks like we got them all.
I sure have built up a sweat with this hike.
Rest assured, we have reached the top. It's all downhill from here, quite literally.
So Mahag Sar's just up ahead then?
Indeed. If you look, across this mountain is the Lord's Keep.
What's this place here? Some kind of old house?
I don't know about that.
Gotta break through! it!
Not on my watch!
Glimmer Dragon!
Here
No
we go!
escape! First strike! It's over!
Harry, this one's mine! Thunder Shield!
Strike!
Mega Ray!
You're
Whoa!
finished!
Annihilation!
Sword Alpha!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Right, next one!
Soda!
Already on!
Strike! You're on!
Dragon
Sword
Shield!
Damn it! Strike! I'm on!
Now! Here comes Fury! Water! Here's
I'm not done!
Tempest Swirl! Here's a healing arc! First aid!
Go! I feel like Mirage!
Current Flare!
Sword Rain Alpha!
If it's in the sky, it's mine!
Sword Rain Alpha!
Demon's Descent!
Flashing Fang!
Well, this
No! Soda! I'm not done! Mirage!
Lightning Orb!
Do they not teach you to say thank you, Andrana? Not to a Renan they don't?
Do it! Hero! Demon's Descent!
Flashing Fang!
How's that for a kick? I'm getting better, right?
Quite. I'll be relying on your
Ow! I'm surrounded!
Don't mind if I do!
Take this! It's over!
Burning
Glimmer Dragon! Take this! Sword Rain Alpha! Here I come! Rising Walker! Soda! Take this! You're finished! Take this! It's over! You're mine! Dragon Swarm! You're finished!
Here's the evil!
No escape! It's over! Sword Rain Alpha!
You make quick work of them!
Want me to pick up your slot then?
Just pointing it out!
These little ones are hardly worth our time.
Less talking, more pummeling.
Cut them apart to your heart's content.
Sword Rain Alpha!
Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Right, next one!
Dragon Swarm!
Already on!
Soda! You're finished! Rising Walker! Severing Wind! Here I come! Here I come!
Lord Astral Energy!
Say no more!
How much longer will our healing arts last?
Get out of sight!
Freeze Lancer!
Take this!
I'll tear you apart!
You're finished! Eat this!
You're mine! I'm all
Take this!
Sweet Molly!
Megasonic thrust!
Freeze Lancer!
I'm not done! Here!
Whoa! Hey! When did it start? Demons descend! Flashing fang!
Do it! Way to go!
You're mine!
Do you require help?
Whirlwind smash!
Well then, let's keep moving.
Through these... land's most verdant green. My...
Little help!
Take this!
Freaking does it!
Great time to do! Here's the evil! Lightning orb!
It's so big time!
Let's go!
You're mine!
Lightning descent!
I'll tear you apart!
Healing circle!
There you go!
Take this!
What a relief!
Swallow dance! You're mine!
Here's my call!
I'll tear you apart! I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! Dragon! I'm just getting started!
Where are you going?
Eat this!
Take this! Sword Rain Alpha!
Here's a healing arc! First aid!
I owe you one! Totally! In an instant! Impact Claw! Not a chance!
Ready to go!
Strike! Rising Wyvern!
Raging Dark Shield!
Lunar Rondo!
Dance in the wind! Now!
Good work! Demons descend! Flashing fang!
I won't rest until I'm the best I can be.
Still striving to be on par with the Lord?
You simply can't be too strong when battle is a part of your everyday. I found some equipment.
Let me take a look at it.
Don't get careless!
Don't tell...
Me? I'm on it! Sword Rain Alpha! You!
Not on my watch!
Talon Storm!
This one's all mine! Rising Wyvern! Strike! Stardust!
Do it! Yukara! I'll stop your movement!
And I'll stop your life!
Glacial
My
Spear!
turn!
Here's the evil!
Stardust!
I'm ready!
I'm not done!
I'm
You're on! Sword Rain Alpha!
Dance in the wind! This one's mine!
Here I come!
Now!
Chikara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! I'll heal you all!
Not chance! I'm not done!
Eat this! Healing Cyclone!
Thank you.
No escape!
Hey, that...
Dragon
Now!
Sword! Blow them away!
Dance in the wind!
Now!
Air thrust! Lightning strike in the net!
Burn in hell!
Thunder! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
I think I'm getting stronger.
An opponent like this should be easy.
Here goes! Into the shadow! Confiscate! Searing flame! It's in the sky! It's mine! Dance in the wind! Now! This one's mine!
You're mine!
Do it!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
See that?
That training's paying off! Here you go! I'll take you all off! Sword Rain Alpha!
Now! Get toasty!
Burn strike!
Here's a healing!
It's time!
Here goes! Go get it!
You'll find not too long ago.
Where are you going? Feel!
You're mine!
Tear you apart!
Dragon Sword!
Run low! Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang!
Now!
Mega Ray!
Take this!
Annihilation!
Rising Wyvern!
Mega Ray!
You're mine! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! Now! You're mine!
Here! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
It's over!
In here! Freeze!
Take this! Sword Rain Alpha!
I'll crush you! Lightning reflexes! Tenebrous claw! I'm on it!
You picked the wrong fight! It's over!
The tide of battle has turned!
That's the power of comrades in arms!
It's over!
Right. Comrades in arms. What? Now!
Demon's Descent! Flashing Fang! Easy!
Way to go! Into the shadows!
No escape!
Do it!
Sword Rain Alpha!
This calls for a celebratory drink.
Still thinking about how to act around Dohalim?
That obvious, huh? Except I don't think I'll be changing much after all. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to stay his servant. However, I am going to treat him like a fellow comrade, the same way I would with you or anyone else. For as long as I can remember, I've spent my life protecting others. But isn't that what friends do too? Support and protect one another in times of need?
Which in the end pretty much means doing as you've always done, right? If that's what you're most comfortable with, I'm certainly not going to give you any grief over it.
Actually, I've been thinking about how I ought to act around you all as well.
Oh?
When I set out on this journey, it was to rid Eldaman and Sia of its enemies, and search for wisdom in the outside world. Wisdom that I could potentially put to use on my return. I'm grateful to you all for letting me tag along. But it got me thinking, what am I actually contributing by being here?
What are you talking about? You know how to hold a weapon, don't you? That's help enough.
Is it though? Sometimes I wish there was more I could be doing to pull my...
Oops, sorry about that. Jeez, I'm famished.
Now that you mention it, what do you guys normally do for food and meals when you're out and about on your travels?
What do you mean, what do? We find stuff to eat and eat it. So long as it's meat, I'm not fussy.
Eating what you like can be good for morale in the short term, but you need to think about your diet if you want to stay healthy.
Does that mean eating vegetables too?
Isn't that obvious?
It does, which I guess hasn't been happening up till now.
Yeah, to be honest, we could be eating better than we do.
Understood. In that case, I'll just have to make sure you're all staying healthy and eating right myself. Fortunately, I happen to know a thing or two about cooking as well.
You hear that, Law? Sounds like you'll be eating your greens after all.
What is it?
No, sorry, it's just... I was just wondering if you had any thoughts on all this.
It will do her good to have a project.
No, not Kisara. I meant you. Was there anything you wanted to add?
Me? Certainly you're not looking to me for culinary skill, I hope.
Typical Renan, leaving everything to someone else.
Rinwell, I don't think...
That said, should you need my skills on the battlefield, please rest assured I have no intention of shirking my responsibilities, regardless of who we may face.
I'm sure no one doubts that. Listen, guys, if we're traveling together, we should probably at least try to make an effort to get to know one another, don't you think?
I wouldn't get your expectations too high in that regard. Believe it or not, sometimes I'm not sure I even know myself all that well.
Something wrong? You look like you're deep in thought.
Not exactly. I was merely thinking about you two and your sense of etiquette.
Oh?
Etiquette?
Indeed. To be quite frank, I find your lack of manners to be nigh intolerable.
That's not being frank, that's being and forget it. Do we really need to talk about this now?
Yes, I find such impropriety on your parts to be deeply unsettling. It concerns me greatly.
What do you want us to do? We were slaves. We never got to learn how to be proper like you.
Yeah, what he said. Maybe you missed how we were just focused on surviving.
Perhaps, but Kisara here demonstrates that it's quite possible for a Denon to learn proper manners.
That's because I was given the opportunity to learn. Moreover, my duties as a guardsman required it. Not every realm is like Menancia, as you well know.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to hold us to some other city standards.
Exactly. You've got to remember what it's been like for us living under the Rena elsewhere.
I will concede that you do indeed make a valid point. It would appear, for all my espousing the virtues of equality between our peoples, I was still looking down on the two of you.
You don't need to beat yourself up. I wasn't that offended by what you said, man.
Nevertheless, I shall mind my words from here on out. Having said that, I do believe you two would still benefit from learning the basics of proper society. I would be more than happy to teach you both when we camp out, if you like.
Yeah, no, I'll pass. Acting all prim and proper isn't really my style.
If you say so. How about you, Law? Would you like to learn? Although I suppose my first task is to reform your attitude toward the idea of good etiquette.
You're not gonna let this go, are you?
What's that big tower over there?
What do you say we check back in on the ranch?
Have you guys checked your equipment lately?
I'd like to check their... wares, if you don't mind.
Want something to munch on, Hoodle?
Dohalim, your spare bracers were getting dirty, so I polished them up along with the rest of your equipment.
Why, thank you, Kisara. I greatly appreciate that.
Maybe it's just my imagination, but you sure seem to fuss over Dohalim a whole lot, Kisara.
It is a little strange. Almost like you're still in his service.
Really? That's certainly not my intention. Besides, he's not the only one I'm like that with. Hey, Law, I saw your clothes were starting to get holes in them, so I stitched them back up for you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, Kisara.
Point taken. Do you just like looking after people?
I wouldn't go so far as to say I like it, but I get anxious if I don't. I'd always like to help if I can. It comes naturally to me. Back in the day, Miguel and I used to look after the younger kids a lot, so that's probably where it comes from. He taught me everything I know, and I mean everything. How to cook with wild plants, how to sew clothes so they'll last. Without him, we never would have been able to survive.
However, you're not a lord anymore, Dohalim. You need to get used to the idea that people aren't just going to wait on you hand and foot.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm ashamed to admit that I felt no qualms about her doing all that for me. As both a Renan and especially as a lord, one becomes too accustomed to those beneath you tending to your every need, both Renans and Danans alike.
Sure, that's how all you Renans are probably raised. But just to be clear, we're not your servants, Dohalim. Got that?
Absolutely. Moments such as this provide me with ample opportunity to confront my unease. It is difficult to tend with my own motivations.
What do you mean?
The truth of the matter is that my espousal of coexistence in Menancia hardly came from an idealistic place. That instinctive unease I feel deep within serves as a reminder for what it is that all of us here fight for.
Don't be so hard on yourself. No one's going to abandon you if you aren't always perfect.
Looking at her now, I think she's more like his mom than his servant.
Done. This is sure to give the others some much-needed energy.
Kisara, let's talk for a bit. Maintaining your shield? It's becoming a familiar sight.
Miguel was the one who taught me how to maintain my equipment after I first joined the Guard. Now, it's just a part of my routine.
Your brother always seems to come up whenever I talk to you.
That's because we had no other relatives, so it was just the two of us growing up. He was my idol, the one I looked up to and wanted to be like. When I became a guardsman, Lagiel wasn't too pleased to see me at first. It was Miguel who really welcomed me aboard.
Lagiel? Oh, right. She was Miguel's second in the Gold Dust Cats, wasn't she?
That's right. She's always been a very critical and down-to-earth person. In other words, the complete opposite of a dreamer like me.
You're more an idealist than some pie-in-the-sky dreamer.
Even so, that's my brother's doing. He'd never let me stop seeing a brighter world. He always did what he could to keep me smiling and happy.
You must have meant a lot to him.
He wasn't just kind either. He always worked so hard to set an example for me and everyone else around him. He was a true big brother. So much so that when he thought I was asleep, he'd slip out of the house to go training on the outskirts of town.
You seem to know a lot about it.
That's because I only pretended to be asleep and would follow after him. You know what? I'm at a good stopping point with my shield. If you've got time, how about I tell you a couple more Miguel stories?
I guess I'd better get comfortable.
See you tomorrow. Before we go, do you guys have everything?